Okay, imagine this. You stumble upon a diary, right? A really raw, heartfelt love confession. Only you believe the person who wrote it died in
Mm.
like a tragic explosion. So you go on this quest, this journey to find the person they loved, to deliver this unspoken truth. You're expecting to be the messenger of, a posthumous love story. But what if the person you thought was gone is actually alive? And discovering that doesn't bring relief. It actually unveils something far, far worse for someone else. Today, we're taking a deep dive into this really extraordinary and deeply emotional story. It's from excerpts from ifchcha15.pdf. It starts with mistaken identity, but it twists into this profound, heartbreaking realization. It really challenges our assumptions about love, loss, and, well, the power of a single moment. So our mission today is to unpack this whole intricate web of events. We want to understand the emotional journey of the people who found this diary, who uncovered this truth, and explore the profound implications of feelings left unsaid and, sudden tragedy. Get ready for a story where every aha moment really hits you right in the heart. Okay, so the story really kicks off when our narrator and Avantika, Shrey, and Tia, they finally get to this house in Mumbai. They're there to find Ragini. She's the one who was supposed to receive this burnt diary they found. But the door opens, and it's not Ragini. It's a man. And he says he's Ritam, the exact person they thought was dead in that Delhi blast, the guy whose diary they're holding. Right.
That initial moment must have been just completely disorienting for them. And what's really fascinating, I think, is how quickly the whole mood, the energy in the room just shifts. That first shock, wow, he's alive. It almost instantly twists into this dawning, kind of terrifying realization. It really shows how fast joy can just curdle into dread when, new information comes to light that shatters what you thought was real, revealing this hidden, darker truth under what seemed for a second like a miracle.
You absolutely nailed it. Because him being alive, Ritam, it's paradoxical. It doesn't bring any relief. It actually plunges them and us as readers deeper into this agonizing mystery. The narrator's mind is racing, thinking he doesn't look burnt, and he seriously doesn't look like a girl. Then Sheree just blurts out, "But how can you be Ritam? You're dead."
Uh-huh. Yeah, imagine hearing that.
And Tia's bewildered, shrieking, "He should be burnt and dead and definitely not be in Ragini's house." Meanwhile, Ritam is, understandably, completely bewildered. What are you talking about? How do you know her? He's described as a little angry and very confused, which honestly seems like a perfectly normal reaction to strangers telling you you're supposed to be dead.
Oh, absolutely. It's dripping with dramatic irony, isn't it?
Yeah.
We and the group now know so much more than Ritam does right then. So trying to make sense of it or prove their point, they show him the burnt diary. And the text says his eyes look like they'd pop out. He's just utterly stunned.
Yeah.
He takes it almost mechanically, and they explain they found it near the Tandi Chowk blast site. And his reaction is just silence. This like internal collapse as he looks at those burnt pages. You can almost feel him starting to piece it together.
And then the real horror starts to unfold. Ritam, his voice kind of trailing off, opens a drawer, pulls out copies of the diary, confirms it's his, and then he says it. "I sent it to Ragini a few weeks back."
Ah, that's the moment.
That's it. The group just gets hit with this immediate, crushing understanding. The narrator calls it sheer horror, like their hearts beat out of our mouths. The copies fall, Ritam's crying.
Yeah.
He looks totally lost, like he might faint. Any relief they felt finding him alive, gone. Completely replaced by something just terrifying.
Well, if you think about the bigger picture here, psychologically, this moment really highlights how we humans tend to grasp at straws, right? Any little sliver of hope, no matter how irrational it seems, just to delay or deny a really devastating truth. The mind just scrambles to build alternatives when faced with something unbearable.
Yeah, exactly.
So the group, even read them initially, they're throwing out these desperate maybes.
Yeah.
Maybe it was with someone else. Maybe it wasn't her.
Right, like maybe the courier guy had it. Or it never got delivered.
Anything at all to avoid the obvious awful conclusion that's just staring them right in the face.
Ugh.
It's a classic defense mechanism, really.
And Ritam himself, even through his anguish, he tries to reason it out. He asks, "But I sent it to her. Why would she give it to someone else?" It's like this desperate plea for logic where there isn't any. He's frantically looking for a loophole, any way out of what his gut is starting to tell him. And then panic starts setting in. He grabs his laptop, starts calling those Tandi Chowk blast helplines, hospitals. He's doing exactly what the narrator did earlier, remember? Only now the stakes are just unbelievably higher for him personally.
Right. And the narrator even tells him it probably won't help. The hospitals couldn't give info before, but he's not listening. He just keeps calling like a man clinging to a thread. It's Truly heartbreaking watching that desperation escalate. He's basically reliving the group's search, but focused on Ragini, and it's just devastating. And while he's doing that, another piece falls into place, a really crucial one. Tia, crying, points out the handwriting on that get well soon card envelope.
Oh, right. The one Nigel gave them, thinking it was from Ragini.
Exactly. But the narrator suddenly realizes the handwriting. It matches Ritam's in the diary, not Ragini's.
So Ritam sent the card to Nigel.
Yes, which, looking back, just strengthens that agonizing conclusion that the diary was with Ragini. It makes her survival seem tragically unlikely.
So yeah, the puzzle pieces are fitting together, but the picture they make is just utterly devastating. Ritam's plunged into this desperate search, just like the group was, but it's so much more personal, so much more terrifying for him. He starts looking like a maniac, the text says, tearing through news articles, YouTube clips, looking for any mention of Ragini. His face is just drooping as defeat slowly starts to sink in. You can literally see him losing hope in real time. And as that tiny bit of hope just evaporates, Rita makes one last desperate call to Ragini's old home phone number in London. The narrator describes how their eyes widen, hearts sink as they overhear the word death from the other end.
Oh, no.
The conversation confirms the absolute worst. Ragini's mother doesn't live there anymore. She moved to India. And Ragini is, in fact, dead. It is final. Those words just hang there. Ritam's devastation is instant, total. He hangs up, just collapses onto the sofa, covers his face. His face gets red, looks like it might burst. He's disturbed as hell, almost faints.
This brings up such an important point about grief, doesn't it? Not just how sudden and brutal it can be, but specifically when it's tied to a love that wasn't fully expressed. The weight of what if becomes almost as crushing as the loss itself.
Exactly.
And you see how that news doesn't just hit Ritam, it ripples outwards. It pulls everyone in that room into this shared space of horror, of empathy. It forces them to confront their own vulnerability, what it means to lose someone without saying everything. And the thought that Ragini might have just read his declaration of love and then died, that adds this unbearable layer of tragedy. It just amplifies the grief for everyone.
Yeah. And after that first huge outburst, that intense crying, Ritam's grief shifts. It becomes quiet. He just sits still, looking down, breathing heavily, eyes vacant, tears just trickling down.
That quiet grief.
Yeah.
That's often when the reality is truly sinking in, isn't it?
It really is. And in that silence, somehow he manages to hug the narrator. He just whispers, barely audible, "Thank you." Then he asks about his sister, Nivedita, and his friends, Piyush, Sumi, Nigel. All the people the group met while they were searching for him, thinking he was the one lost.
It's such a vulnerable moment, but also maybe a way of subconsciously reconnecting with the people he still has. And then Avantika tells him the whole story, how they found the diary, tracked down his friends, heard all the kind things people said, how much they loved him, and how their goal was always to find Ragini for him. Hearing his own story retold like that must be incredibly jarring. It brings him face to face with all the love and admiration out there for him, right next to this devastating loss. It's such a painful contrast.
And then, just when you think it can't get any worse, Ritam shares something that just twists the knife even further. He reveals that Ragini, well, she had started to hate him. Nigel had mentioned this to the group earlier.
Oh, wow. That adds another layer of just agonizing regret, doesn't it?
Totally. He's filled with sorrow for not speaking up sooner. He says, voice full of remorse, "It took a lot of courage to send her the diary. I should have done it long before, but I wanted to give her time. I never knew that. I just wanted her back."
Such a raw confession.
Yeah.
Wrestling with timing, with fear.
Yeah. And Avantika, trying to comfort him, gently says, "I'm sure she knows that you love her, wherever she is." It's a small comfort, maybe, in such a huge tragedy, acknowledging that love, even unexpressed, still matters somehow.
That moment really highlights something universal, I think. The courage it takes to say how you truly feel. Sometimes it comes too late. We get shadowed by fear, or we think we have more time than we do. Ritam's agony is proof that waiting for that perfect moment is a massive gamble with fate, and sometimes fate is just cruel.
Yeah.
The what if of those unspoken words ends up being heavier than the words themselves ever could have been.
Then, just out of curiosity, maybe trying to grasp at anything, the narrator asks Ritam why he didn't put his phone number in the diary. And Ritam's answer, it's this another cruel twist. The last few pages where he'd really poured his heart out, where he had written his number, those were the pages that got burnt in the blast.
No, seriously.
Seriously. He'd been waiting for her call ever since he sent it, started thinking whether she just wouldn't reply, and he was right, as the narrator notes, in a very twisted, unfortunate manner. Indeed, he had lost her.
Wow. That is devastatingly fascinating. The role of such a small detail, those specific burnt pages, it created this huge catastrophic misconnection. If those pages hadn't burned, the whole story changes.
Completely different outcome.
And the irony is profound because that destruction, that accident, it inadvertently led to this deep personal realization for the narrator. They reflect, if only those pages hadn't gotten burned, it would have been so easy to trace Regina down, but I am glad they got burned.
Which sounds harsh, but
But they continue. The chase and the search for Ragini made me realize how important it is to keep your loved ones close and let them know what you feel. Who knows what tomorrow has in store for you, or worse still, for them. It's a brutal lesson learned through someone else's tragedy.
yeah, the irony is just immense. The group finds him instead of Ragini ever being able to contact him because of those burnt pages. The weight of that realization just hangs there. Then Ritam, still clearly disoriented, totally grief-stricken, suddenly announces he has to leave. He needs to meet Nivedita, his sister, and he has a flight in an hour.
Oh, wow. That quick.
Yeah, and the sudden urgency combined with how shattered he obviously is, it really worries the group. Shri voices the fear they're all probably thinking. He won't kill himself, really.
Such a raw, immediate fear for someone that broken.
It really is. So they decide, kind of unspoken, just to wait outside the building, just to make sure he actually leaves safely for his flight. A silent act of compassion, really.
That choice to wait, just to be a quiet presence for him in that incredibly vulnerable moment, it says so much. And relief just washes over them when they finally see him come out with a trolley bag, hail a taxi, and leave.
Yeah.
The journey's over for the group, but it's not a celebration, is it? It's somber. Shrey sums it up perfectly. This is like the worst love story ever.
Hmm.
And they realize they have this awkward, awful task ahead, calling everyone they told Ritam was dead, and correcting the story with this even more tragic, complicated truth.
And this whole thing, this entire experience, it really solidifies the lessons for the narrator personally. They say, fear grips me, a fear of losing Avantika, just like Ritam lost Ragini. It makes them want to express their own love right then and there. Avantika senses it, reassures them.
That impact is immediate.
Definitely. The final thoughts on the plane are just heavy. And no one should suffer the fate that Ritam have. It's unfortunate and unfair. They say a silent prayer for Ragini, and the narrator remembers Ritam's last diary entry, his plan to fight back, to finally tell Ragini how he felt, written just 10 days before the blast. A plan that fate, through all these cruel twists, made sure never happened. So this deep dive into Ritam and Ragini's story, it's just such a poignant look at how fate can just brutally mess with human emotions. We've seen this agony of mistaken identity turn into something even deeper, the pain of love left unsaid and sudden irreversible loss. It's a really powerful story about the consequences of delaying communication and the huge impact of tragedy you just don't see coming. It reminds you how fragile things are.
It really does. And this isn't just about characters in a story, is it? It holds up a mirror to our own lives. It makes you think about how fragile our own connections are, how precious every single moment is. It really underscores that being clear, expressing how we feel, even when it's hard, that might be the most important gift we can give to ourselves and to others. Because honestly, you never know when your last chance might be.
Exactly. And after hearing how Ritam poured his heart out, only for those vital words to literally vanish in smoke, and his final plan to speak up vanish along with Ragini, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What heartfelt messages are we holding back in our own lives right now? And what might the ultimate cost be if we keep waiting for that perfect moment that might never actually arrive? It's definitely something to think about long after this deep dive ends.